Hello.
moderate the discussion. Sir, the panel chair.
Biophilic design is actually, the introduction will be given by Jay. But before that, I can tell you that biophilic design is basically getting nature into the space and space into nature. That's what it is. And it is very important in today's time because it brings in a lot of progressive thinking, better understanding, and uh, you can say even in educational institutions, now it's being recommended that waterfalls should be put everywhere so that the children perform better, they study better. It brings in the calmness into your mind and more, you are more at peace with each other. With, the children don't fight so much. Similarly, it's for houses and even for commercial establishments where it is required that it brings in more productivity. Over to Jay to give you an introduction on the subject.
Thank you so much, sir. Uh, so, to explain what biophilic design is, I think it's only sensible to start off by defining what biophilia is exactly. Biophilia is basically the innate bond that humans share with nature. So, humans are hardwired to respond to various stimulus in nature. There are, for example, greenery and things like that. Because if there's greenery, you feel a lot at ease. There's comfort. Psychologically, it's very much pleasing. Things like that happen. And this thing. In terms of biophilia in design is basically the incorporation of elements of nature in design. So that obviously has to start off by incorporating trees, plants, things like that, and eventually then not just the visible implementation of greenery and basic things. There's also other things that can be done. Not, I mean, for example, we have these plants right here in front of us. This is implementation of biophilic design. Because of this thing, otherwise it's a blank wall, it's a dead space, there's just hard finishes and nothing else. So these things are what increase the livability of the space. And other than the trees as such or the plants, there can be other organic forms per se, because straight lines and right angles, those things aren't those things aren't existing in nature naturally. So anything to, if you're inspired by nature, either in terms of the materiality, in terms of the forms, or then implementing nature in itself inside the space, that is what biophilic design is. I think to further elaborate on it, I would ask if this.
Thank you, Jay, for the wonderful introduction on what biophilia is. I'll start with just a keyword. So if I break down this word, bio is nature, philia is your love towards the nature. Philia is love. So when we combine these two, what we mean to say is love towards the nature. So biophilia is nothing just but an approach to bring nature into your designs. The main intention is to create a healthy and happy atmosphere. I want you all to take out a minute and just imagine a hospital in your minds. So what I will imagine is white fluorescent lighting, dull corridors, smelly spaces, and if I break down or if I want to summarize the whole concept, I'll just say that we should just look for the senses that we have. So, what do we see? What does a human or a user in the building wants to see? He wants to have a great view. So, biophilia asks to provide a good view. Then, what do you want to smell? You don't want stinky corridors. You want great smell. You want fragrance all over the places. How can you achieve that? By using plants, by using flowers. And what do you hear? Do you hear birds chirping? Do you see senior citizen going to some retreat just to hear the just to hear the voice of the waterfalls and birds chirping? So that helps. There are studies that proves that biophilia has helped in regenerating and it has helped so much in the healthcare spaces as well in recovery of the patients, and also it enhances your productivity, be it just like Mr. Lakra mentioned that be it educational or institutional or office spaces, it definitely enhances your productivity and efficiency of the work. And it is just way more than just putting in the plants. Basically, there are three parameters in biophilia. First is you bring in nature, you bring nature in the space. That is, you try to bring waterfall or you put in the plants. Then there is natural analogs, where you try to have biomorphic facades or you use natural materials like you tend to use wood and stone that a person can relate more to with nature. And then you have nature of the space. So as an architect, you can always design spaces which have its own nature, which there is a risk, there is a peril to that form. Like you can create bridges or it enhances one of your emotions. Just to sum up, just elevate your design using such senses and putting more biophilia in this. Thank you. And moving on to Madasseh.
I would request Parth to speak on his subject
Thank you, Luthra
and
Sahab.
how it can help in biophilic.
Thank you, Luthra Sahab. My name is Parth Sarthi and I am representing Havells India Limited. So, as the topic itself says, and Mr. Kotwal and Mr. Hriday already told you, as an electrical most innovative company, what is our main aim for this topic? We want to give you the solution where we give you energy saving products, but not with the compromising on interior space. We don't have to compromise with interiors, with the product shape and quality, and in the same time we have to save lot of energy. So, like Mr. Hriday says, give the example of hospital. So if a patient is sleeping in a hospital, so we have a lighting solution where we can synchronize the lighting with the sunlight. अगर वो सुबह वहाँ लेटा हुआ है, तो he can feel the color temperature of 2000 Kelvin. At 12, he can feel the color temperature of 9000 Kelvin, and same way 6500 and 5000 Kelvin. So we are trying to innovate a lot of different kind of products which can fulfill the requirement of the hour and to complement the thing with your interior and with your application. So I think solar is the best example. We have solar products. If we are put it into the roof, we use solar energy to convert into electrical energy. Then coming to the lighting, we'll dimming the lights, we'll tune the lights. Then one of the most latest example is BLDC fans now. So BLDC is the most innovative and most energy saving solution in fans. And we are the only company who are giving lot of designer BLDC fans. So I think there are so many other products, home automation and your electrical water heaters. We have introduced one of the best water heater in industry without element. It can work on induction based operations. So more or less we cannot 100% give any space to a biophilic, but we can add some of our products which can feel, because there are two kind of spaces, some kind of big spaces or big bungalows or one canal houses. Their natural light or air is by default. But if we are talking about small apartments or small flats, we can say long towers. So where we have for that? We have air purifiers with fan. We have a fan with inbuilt air purifier so that a customer feels fresh air. So these kind of lot of innovative products which we have. So we'll continue to discuss these.
Shant, you want to say something about this now?
Hi.
How is your product relevant?
See, for the first thing, I think using natural products or things related to nature is important, because for the coming generation, it enlists in the subconscious mind from childhood that we have to preserve the nature. Like when we were kids, we used to go to the zoos and see, and there was this company's name that this particular elephant or lion is being taken care by this company. So it automatically in my subconscious mind feels that yes, this is good. Similar way, if the kids today sees that nature's element is there in their house, they will get an idea in their mind that we have to preserve nature. And especially in metro cities. Like I'm from Delhi, the air quality index is so bad. I've been in Jammu for 2 days, and the first few hours I had trouble breathing here because I'm not used to fresh air. And every time since I was a little kid, every time we go to Shimla and Chandigarh, especially from Delhi, the moment we start entering mountain terrain, my stomach used to hurt. Me and my sister, we were not used to fresh air. So now we have air purifiers, we have some plants in our house. So similar way, what we have is we have nature's wood, natural wooden products. If you talk about houses in Gurgaon, Delhi, they are smaller spaces.
Solid wood floors is also biophilic in nature. So it's, if you have a solid wood floor in the house, it's biophilic.
It gives you kind of
course.
feeling that
Similarly,
connected to
marble,
the nature.
anything which is connected to nature directly.
just that way we offer some products that are closer to nature and gives you an sense in your home that you are in a kind of resort or a holiday retreat, which helps you reduce your everyday stress level as well. And then we'll further continue as the topic goes.
You want to say something? Yeah. You can speak.
Hello. Yes, as our panelist already mentioned, that biophilic design is basically an approach that incorporates natural elements and patterns into the built environment to enhance the connection between humans and nature. It seeks to mimic nature in order to improve the well-being and sustainability of individuals. As Mr. Hirde already mentioned, that studies have also shown that being in contact with nature can improve our mood, reduce our stress, and even boost our productivity as well as creativity. So the architects and designers are looking for ways to integrate nature into our urban environments. Whether it is adding greenery to our offices or incorporating natural materials to our houses, or creating the spaces that can let in plenty of natural light. It is all about making our indoor spaces to look like outdoor, to make us feel better. So by harnessing the power of biophilic design and creating the spaces that exude positive vibes, we can enhance the overall well-being and sustainability of individuals in various settings, from offices to homes and from healthcare facilities to hospitality spaces. We can truly transform our interiors by using this biophilia. As the society is becoming more concerned about well-being and sustainability, so the demand for this design, biophilic design, is going to likely to increase. So it is important for we people to integrate this into our designs and explore more ways to integrate the same into our interiors. So we also have an opportunity to improve the people's well-being and sustainability by bringing nature to our interiors. So let us make this biophilia the new standard and make a new change. At last, I want to quote, as Allama Iqbal has said, that your desire to make a change must be greater than your desire to be the same. So in Urdu we say, सितारों से आगे जहाँ और भी हैं, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी हैं, इसी शब व रोज़ में उलझ कर न रह जा, तेरे ज़मा व मकां और भी हैं. Thank you.
Anybody wants to add anything more? And we can go for the audience. They want to ask some questions.
I would like to add another tangent to this, that since we're talking about materials and plants as such, that I mean, those are the only two tangents we've touched so far. But other than that, apart from the visible aspect in biophilia, another thing would be the thermal comfort, right? Because biophilia is not only replicating nature in terms of the visual part of it, but also because there was this research that I just got reminded of. They were trying to look for what is the best temperature suitable. What is the temperature that would make almost everybody comfortable in indoor spaces. So now, whatever methodology they took to kind of come to that conclusion, in the end they ended up concluding that it is not one particular temperature which makes humans feel comfortable. What happens is, it is the change and variation in temperature that in the end gives that result where somebody feels comfortable. If it's at, say, let's just say 21 degrees or something, and obviously that'll be a comfortable temperature to sit in, but then you won't really, after a certain point you'll stop noticing that there's a comfortable temperature over there. Now what happens is, in the air conditioning systems which are designed as per this thing, what happens is, they do some good powerful cooling for a certain time. After that, when a person starts to feel cold, the cooling takes a, goes a notch down. And then again, environment starts getting warmer, and then back to the, full blast cooling thing that comes back in. And then again you start to feel a little cold. That is when that comfort level, your mind is diverted to giving some attention to that thing, that okay, and now I'm again feeling comfortable. That is where that extra experience part comes. So this is one thing that I want to kind of tell. Yeah.
It's a good point that you put up. Hriday, you want to say something?
Thank you. If there are any questions that somebody wants to ask about biophilia, I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah. Any questions from the audience? Anything?
Also, Parth and Prashant both here have a fine example of biophilia integrating natural analogs. Like if you go for solid wood floorings, so you are also bringing in biophilia into the spaces, into the interior spaces. And moreover, when you talked about your lighting, so it enhances the circadian rhythm. So adapting to the changes, like what Jaditya just mentioned. So that are both fine examples of biophilia designs. So if there are any questions regarding biophilia, we'll be happy to answer.
You could just raise your hand and the mic would reach you, please. If you could not just put forward a couple of questions, if you had any queries so far, please. Anybody from any table there, people at the back, you could just raise your hand, the mic would come to you. We have had a couple of people who have been continuously asking questions, so you can ask the question. Anybody else?
One thing I must add, that this word biophilia was coined by the Europeans, the Greeks and the Americans. But the actual, India has been a seat of biophilia.
Hello.
Right from ages, because we've had houses even in Jammu, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, where there was a center courtyard, which had the natural elements coming from all areas, wind, rain, and greenery. So this thing has been part in Indian architecture. This has been part of basic nature of architecture. So biophilia is actually a word which is from there, but we've been practicing it for many centuries.
Yes, I just want to ask about, you mentioned about biophilia is about adding design elements of nature, just like wood, stone or bricks or something. What can you more add about? Just like in the sense of geometry and patterns and theme-based designs, like that.
So that is what I just said, that it is not just about plants and bringing in nature into the design. It is more about adding intangible values or emotions into the spaces. Like there are many examples, like if you check out buildings of Singapore, or sir just mentioned why to talk about Singapore. We have Ahmedabad pole houses, which had a courtyard in the center of the house. So it not just brought the rain inside the house, it brought out emotions, like people sitting around and enjoying the rain, or people sitting together and enjoying the sunlight. So it not only brought, the nature was not the point, it was never the point. The ultimate goal was to elevate the atmosphere, environment, and it elevates your happy and healthy living. So that is the whole concept of biophilia.
Thank you.
I would also like to add to what he said, that there's other things, the intangible, and not just the, exactly just getting that plant inside the room. Another example, a very good example of this would be in terms of, let's just say, planning or the layout of a space. A very good example would be the Louvre Museum in Abu Dhabi. So what happens over there is, I mean, once you travel, you're traveling through the museum. While you're entering it, you see that aluminium dome all over it, and then you enter the spaces. Now, all the halls inside are arranged in such a way that you can only get, little sneak peeks into that roofing, but while you're inside, you can't really have a look at it. It's just flat slab on top of you, a false ceiling or whatever. And when you keep getting those sneak peeks into out of the windows, you see that crazy roofing all over there. There's a lot of curiosity that builds up, which you really want to go out there and see it, but you just can't find the way to. I mean, how you're going to reach there. Only once you've traveled throughout the complete museum, then after the last hall, you finally get to go outside into that courtyard, which is covered by that amazing roofing system that's over there. Now, the thing is, in nature also, there's a lot of information in terms of visual, let's call it clutter for lack of a better word. But the hall, for example, this hall that we're in, this thing is just a box, right? Now, if you're trying to make something biophilic, there has to be a lot of information over there. It probably also has to be complex to a certain level. So the same thing done over there, that it sparks curiosity. As he was saying that those intangible things need to be brought into design. The main thing over here in the planning of this building was curiosity. So you're traveling throughout the space, you're getting to see it, but you're just not getting that satisfaction of becoming a part of that thing. So once you travel all around the space and then you enter over there, it's a very overwhelming feeling altogether. That's also kind of biophilic design that's been put there, but there are no plants. So yeah, that's what I was getting.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Yes.
Hello, sir. In our Indian culture, we have cows, we have crows, we feed them, and in cities like Delhi, there are pigeons. These are also biology, and they are also coming in and creating a mess. They're getting out of control. So, we design our culture, or how do we design our buildings so that these things can also be controlled? Pigeons. Basically, the question is pigeon.
That's a difficult one, actually.
Rats,
You
flies.
So for this, in my old factory, in the rooftop, before I entered the wood industry, we had the same problem. So what we did was we kept a bowl filled with the dal that pigeons ate in a particular side due to the sunlight. So eventually, after a couple of weeks, they all just used to come there, eat their food and leave. Similarly, for the stray dogs, we made dog houses outside. So it's not like they are coming and destroying anything. You can just, your roofs are anyways empty. If you talk about Delhi, Gurgaon, all the spaces, you can just put a little section for them. They will also come and go.
It causes a lot of maintenance. Wherever there is water body, a lot of birds come in, and then bird shit happens.
Not
And
a
then
lot
we
of
have to
maintenance, maybe just
increase
their
the
dumps,
cost.
you have to get it clean.
Yes.
If the question is pertained to the urban cities, like you mentioned in Delhi, so you can always have good balconies. You can always have balconies designed in such a way that you enclose your balcony, or you make such enclosures that are openable. That gives you flexible design basically. So the balconies can be designed in such a way that you welcome everything. You welcome your nature, you welcome air and the other parts. That's what I said initially also. When you hear the sounds of bird chirping, it will enhance your circadian rhythm. It will enhance your mood. It will elevate. You will have a pet in your house. So lot of people might have a pet here. So they know what's the emotional value attached with it. So when you design such spaces, you will have your mood accordingly.
Any more questions now?
ओके ये हो ही नहीं सकता था अगर वो क्वेश्चन ना पूछे तो
Hello.
Hello.
Whether we are talking about bringing biophilic artificially in our species, why not we just focus on bringing it naturally?
It's natural also.
No, if we are Sai is saying that we are making floorings of wood and artificial like plantations inside the species.
We are not talking about artificiality in this at all. There's nothing artificial about it. You have lawns in everybody's houses which are natural.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like you said, sir, that in southern part of our India, there are proper courtyards for this, like to enhance the nature in, to like to cheer up everyone while they are having some kind of mishappenings or whatever. But there are some space. Of course, spaces are plays very good role to enhance your mood. And rather than like in urban areas, like he guy is saying, like in urban areas, there are just all concrete. Why not be all like we put proper space for that nature also in that concrete also.
We are doing that now. You know, there was a time where when the courtyards used to be there. Now because of the shortage of land, there are buildings come up now. You know, societies come up. But you must have noticed that most of the societies everywhere in India has a green cover. They do not exist without it. The people don't like to live inside only concrete jungles.
Exactly.
That's how the addition.
Even there are some designs of some people who have the real tree inside of their home. That is, I think that is more biophilic than.
A very good example of completely biophilic building is a tree house.
Tree house, exactly.
Yes, it is. But then
it is not possible to live for.
No, you can.
Just for 1 or 2 person.
Yeah, these are hotels which have come up in South Africa and stuff like that. But most of the time, the real biophilic building is a tree house. You're living in it.
Exactly. Like if we give a proper space to birds in our living, if we proper maintain our like landscape, I think that's far better example of biophilic.
Yes, I can agree.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
You would have made a great opposition leader. अब हर बात के विरोध में रहते हैं. Everyone, any other question, please? Any other question? The mic would come to you. That's not a problem. Okay, so.
I just want to ask that I don't think that it is not possible for us to create a 100% biophilic design in today's modern architecture homes. Because I think a biophilic design is basically a more natural friendly. That means it is a kind of traditional building made up of clay houses, or you are using water in it, or something like that in the pre-traditional era. I think that is the basic idea of the biophilic design which we are incorporating in today's modern architecture.
Having a potted plant in your house is also biophilic. My dear sir.
But sir, we are using concrete, we are using steel rods and everything in the modern architecture. Then how will we create some biophilic design?
Yeah, I'm getting your point, but I think there is a fine line that we need to maintain over here in terms of understanding complete sustainability, a difference between that and biophilia, right? In terms of complete sustainability, if you're looking forward to build a completely eco-friendly thing, say something which has a net zero carbon footprint and things like that, that is not exactly biophilic design. Obviously, to get those things done, you'll be making certain interventions which would be biophilic in nature. But biophilic design is there not to get that net zero done and to get the LEED certification and things like that. But biophilic is there to increase or maybe improve the livability of the kind of spaces that we're living in these days. biophilic design is a relatively new term. Now these things in design were being done earlier also, but the term has been coined in the recent past. That is because now we've started to live in the kind of spaces that you're mentioning, right? The concrete jungles and things like that. And then people realize that, okay, the stress levels have gone up, the blood pressure levels are shooting. There's a lot of stress and things like that. And then when you get these design interventions, which are classified under biophilic design, these things come in control back, to their natural parameters. So I think what you're saying is probably for the net zero carbon thing, obviously just from biophilic design you can't achieve that, but biophilia is there only to improve the livability of the spaces.
To connect with the nature.
Yeah.
Absolutely. और जिस हालात से urbanization हो रहा है हमारे दिल्ली वाले किसी दिन जंगल में जाके रहेंगे इधर. There's total urbanization of Delhi at the
तो
moment.
शाह जी तो बीमार हो जाते हैं जब क्लीनर एनवायरनमेंट देख के.
Absolutely.
He is so used to it.
Absolutely. Okay, so I think we're done with the questions, and I request the panel to be seated as I call upon the gentleman who is going to honor them. Could we call Jitinder Singh ji from Nexion Surfaces Private Limited? Can we have a round of applause for sir, please? I request Jitinder sir to present a token of appreciation to Harivansh Lakra ji.